So in this video, let us see the top 10 gruesome ancient methods of execution. So number 10, Brazen Bull. The Brazen Bull was invented by Perilos of Athens, a brass worker, in the 6th century BC and offered to Phalaris, tyrant of Agrigentum, as a gift. It was a large brass bull that was completely hollow inside with a door on the side large enough for a man to enter. Once the man was inside the bull, a fire would be lit beneath it in order to roast him to death. In the head of the bull, Perulus put a series of tubes and stops that were designed to amplify the screams of the victim and make them sound like a roar to a bull. This is a brazen bull. So, in the list of gruesome ancient methods of execution, this is the 10th, which is called a brazen bull. Perilos was removed from the bull before he died, and Phalaris had him thrown off a cliff. The brazen bull became one of the most common methods of execution in ancient Greece. Number 9, hanging, drawing, and quartering. Hanging, drawing, and quartering was the common from common form of punishment in England for the crime of treason, considered the worst crime you could commit. The punishment was only applied to men. Women found guilty of treason were burnt at the stake. Unbelievably, this punishment remained in law until 1814. Number 8, burning. Burning at the stake was normally done in one of two ways. In the first, the victim would be led to the center of a wall of sticks and straw and tied to the stake, after which the escape between the criminal and the wall would be filled with wood, concealing the person. It is believed this is the manner in which Saint John of Arc was burnt, and other method was to pile sticks and straw to the navel of the calves only. Oh. Number 7, Ling Chi. Ling Chi execution by slow cutting was practiced in China until it was outlawed in 1905. In the execution, the criminal is slowly cutting the arms, legs, and chest until finally they are beheaded or stabbed in the heart. Many Western accounts of the execution method are largely exaggerated, with some claiming that the execution could take days to perform. Number 6, breaking wheel. The breaking wheel was also known as the Catherine wheel, and it was a medieval execution device. The criminal would be attached to a cartwheel and his arms and legs stretched out along the spokes. The wheel would be made to turn while a heavy metal bar or hammer would deliver bone breaking blows to various parts of the body between the spokes. If a merciful execution had been ordered after a large number of bones were shattered, fatal blows would be delivered. In cases where mercy was not offered, the criminal would remain on the wheel until they died. This could sometimes take days, and the person would die of shock and dehydration. Number 5, boiling. In execution by boiling, the condemned is stripped naked and either placed in a vat of boiling liquid or in a vat of cold liquid, which was then heated to boiling. The liquid could be oil, acid, tar, water, or molten lead. During the reign of King Henry VIII, it was a punishment especially reserved for prisoners. Number 4, flaying. Execution by flaying is when the skin of the criminal is removed from their body with the use of a very sharp knife. Attempts are made to keep the skin intact. This is a very ancient method of execution. The apostle Bartholomew was flayed and crucified upside down. His skin and bones are kept in a cathedral in Sicily. Number 3, necklacing. Necklacing is a type of execution in which a rubber tire is filled with gasoline forced over the arms and chest of the victim and set fire. It was a common practice in southern Africa during 1980s and 1990s anti-apartheid struggle. Necklacing has also occurred in Brazil and Haiti, and at least one person was killed by this method in Nigeria during Muslim prophet Muhammad Cotton. So, number 2, Sacfism. Sacfism is an ancient Persian method of execution. According to Wikipedia, a naked person would be firmly fastened within a back to back pair of narrow rowboats. The head, hands, and feet protruding from this improvised container. The condemned was forced to ingest milk and honey to the point of developing severe diarrhea, and more honey would be rubbed on his body so as to attract insects to the exposed appendages. They would then be left to float on a stagnant pond or alternatively simply exposed to the sun somewhere. The defenseless individual's faces accumulated within the container, attracting more insects which would eat and breed within his exposed and increasingly gangrenous flesh. Death, when it eventually occurred, was probably due to a combination of dehydration, starvation, and septic shock. Last and number 1, sawing. In execution by sawing, the criminal would be hung upside down and a large saw would be used to cut their body in half, starting with the groin all the way to the head. Because the person was hanging upside down, the brain received sufficient blood to keep them alive until the saw finally reached the main blood vessels in the abdomen. In the Asian version of this execution, the victim would stand upright and the sawing would begin at the top of the head. Oh my god, these are the unusual executions which are not now, they are not there now. Luckily, the criminals are very much happy. They should feel very much happy. Even they go to jail to complete their punishments. These are not, these much cruel punishments are not available now. They should feel and thankful to the governments and other law and order makers, lawmakers especially all over the world. these were there earlier or not there now. So anyway, these are the top 10 amazing gruesome ancient not now ancient methods of executions.